What's really good was really good. We back at it again. Couple of things I want to bring up. First things first, finish this week with a 100% win rate. I give all praise and all glory to God. If you want to get them banger streams and signals every single day, tap the link in the bio, come join the Discord. Also join the Instagram and the TikTok where you see updates on this stuff every single day. I'm constantly posting content, not just once a week. You feel what I'm saying? On top of that, I was working with some prop firm stuff. I did get funded a total of $50,000 from two 25K accounts. Again, give all praise and all glory to God, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, the one and only true God. That was just an absolute, just fantastic week because that happened within this week as well. Passing in about four to five trading days. And yeah, so I give all praise and all glory to God. But besides all those announcements, getting into today's video, the majority wanted an educational video. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over some strategic stuff, some stuff that I use that help me on a day-to-day basis understand and overall get a hand on what I'm looking at and what I can expect going into the trade day. So let's get straight to the charts and let's get it going. So we're going to be going over levels today. These levels are based on structural areas that price tends to stop, reject, and consolidate based on previous history. Just like any other POI zone, just like any other key area, just like quote unquote support and resistance. This is basically what this is based on. The whole basis of levels is marking out a specific area that's based on previous history that has shown that price tends to stop, consolidate, and reject off of, so we can avoid getting screwed over in the long run. And also, depending on the other confluences, possibly take trades based off of it. Okay. And I'll even show an example from a signal that I put out yesterday that I didn't trade because I was too busy with my anniversary with my girl, but a signal that I did put out that was strictly based on that level, based on structure, price action, a whole bunch of other genuine confluences that I'll show later in the video. All right. But right now we need to go over how to mark them out and what time frames to use. Okay. I would not use a time frame any lower than the 5 minute, depending on if you're in like mid trade day. But overall, when you're marking out your charts, et cetera, you want to primarily use the higher time frames. Yes, I'll sometimes will use 5 minute levels and 15-minute levels. I'll mark out just on smaller time frame, mid trade day, just overall outlook. But overall, I mainly want to have them marked out primarily on the higher time frames, which would be the daily, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour. Okay. And the other reason why is because when you mark it out on here, you get the genuine areas within a long term and a longer term range. Amongst that, it's more spread out and not super condensed whenever you use the higher time frame levels compared to the lower time frame levels. All right. But overall, whatever time frame you decide to use, the whole basis behind it is finding areas that, based on previous history, price tends to stop, consolidate, and reject, so you can avoid getting screwed over and possibly take a trade off of it, depending on how price moves and a whole bunch of other confluences. All right. But now that we know what time frames, now we need to know how to mark them out. Like I said, you want to base them on previous stoppage areas. All right. Also, I would suggest marking these in different colors than any other levels that you might have marked out. Okay. So then you know what you're looking at. And as you can see over here, price tends to stop and consolidate within this area. I might even shoot to move this up a little further up. And you see how price tends to stop at this low point every single time. Every single time. Okay, we broke through it. Guess what? We retested and rejected. We went further down. We broke back above it. We retested, we rejected, we bumped a little bit up. You know, we kind of went sideways within here these past 2 days because these candles are about the same size. And then guess what? We pumped all the way back up. You feel what I'm saying? That's an area that we want to have marked out because now we understand why price is acting that way, et cetera, et cetera. All right. Another important thing to add is that we mainly want to only mark out things within a relative range. Okay. We don't want to be marking out every single possible level. We just want to mark out everything within a relative area that price could genuinely get to within a day. All right. Now we have our levels marked out on the daily time frame. All right. Now we kind of want to move down to, let's say, the 1 hour, just to make sure everything's more consistent within a smaller, higher time frame. And as we can see here, everything's lining up pretty decently. All right. We can see the consolidated areas. We can see the choppiness within some of these areas, et cetera, et cetera. You know, we also see some areas that, okay, we can mark these out with some newer levels just on a lower but higher time frame than the previous time frame, which could be right there. I would shoot to say more like right here. kind of more in like the middle. We might drop this one down just a little bit to get to these high points. And we're definitely going to throw one right here in the middle as well. So now that we did all that and made sure all of our levels are consistent, now y'all need to understand how to get into trades based on these levels. You'll need to understand what to look for with these levels. And the primary things are going to all be based around having enough screen time to understand price action, market structure, volatility, and pressure and momentum within these candles in regards of an overall direction within the trend on a lower and higher time frame with the market structure overall. So the things that you want to look for, you're going to look for a lot of volatility. You want to see price strongly break above these levels. Like you see how price strongly broke below this level and how price strongly broke above this level before after rejecting off of it on multiple occasions. That's what you want to look for. You want to look for price to strongly break above and below specific levels. That lets you know that price is going to rip through this and continue moving even further down. Okay. Otherwise, price ends up tapping into it like these weak candles over here and just immediately rejecting, immediately rejecting, immediately rejecting, immediately rejecting. You want volatility. You want a strong break above these specific levels to give you the confluences that you can get in. The second thing you want to look for, which is primarily focused on the lower time frame, like the 5 minute, especially same thing when it comes to the volatility within the candles when it breaks specific levels, whether that's above or below. You also want to look at that on the 5 minute, but also on the 5 minute is that you also want to look for closes. You want to see price close above these specific levels. Not only do you want price to break above and below very strongly these levels, but you also want to see it close above or below these levels because that lets you know that price was strong enough to not only break it strongly, but also close and finish off above or below these levels that it really should have rejected off of or stopped or consolidated, just like previous history has done. That's what you want to look for. Now, once you get those strong pushes and breaks past those levels, once you get price to close above those levels, the next thing that you need to make sure is that does this complement market structure? If the structure, in this case, we should be bearish Sunday when markets open and Monday, considering that price should pull back to form a higher low. Meaning if price can break strongly below this level and even give us a close in the lower time frame, then that means you know what we can expect. We can expect price to take out this 1 hour low. We can expect price to get to this level. We can expect price to possibly get all the way down to this VWAP area. And that's where I'm going to shoot to say price is going to get to just to form a higher low. Because any further down than that, we might see price try to shift back to the sell side on the 1 hour and the hourly time frame. Okay. And that's kind of how you want to look at it. Some more examples before everything gets finished. On here, on the lower time frame, you see how price strongly broke above this level. Boom, because we rejected a few times, and then boom, we strongly broke above it with this big bullish candle, and we also closed above it. And guess what? Structure is also bullish, meaning if we can get a pullback, a retest, a reject like we did here on the 1 minute time frame, if you want to drop down to the 1 minute as well, this is where that pullback was when we formed that higher low, right over here, a little 1 minute higher low. Boom, you could have rolled that whole trend. Okay, let's say you didn't want to get in. Let's say you didn't get in right there on this little 1 minute pullback. Guess what price did after strongly breaking and closing above this level, respecting the overall directional structure as well. Boom, higher low, rejected, pushed all the way back up. We understood the market structure. We could read the room based on the price action and based on the price action and volatility, volume, momentum, and pressure within the candles breaking above and below and rejecting off of these levels lets us know that, hey, this is a clean move in this direction. And that's how you would basically trade with the levels is you want to wait for price to get to these levels and see how price wants to react. Now, just because price does what it wants to do in regards to that level doesn't mean it's going to work every single time. Just like you see here, how we strongly broke below here, closed below, but guess what? We didn't continue down. But you want to know the main reason why behind that is because we are in bullish structure. We are bullish. We are clearly bullish. That's why the sell side didn't work when we broke above below that level, etc., etc. So now that you know what levels are, you know how to mark them out, and now you know how to trade with them. Let's try to run everything back really quickly and condense it. You mark these levels based on the higher time frames, and you can do in the lower time frames based on stoppage, rejections, and consolidation based on previous history, so then you can avoid getting screwed over, and so you can understand that price could screw us over at this point, but it also could help us out and give us a good entry point and a stop loss area in this area. Okay, now you know what they are. Now you know how to mark them out. Boom, trade day comes. Okay, price reaches this level. Okay, what are we doing structurally speaking? Are we disrespecting structure? Are we in regards of shifting to the sell side if we broke this higher low right here? If we are we shifting to the sell side by disrespecting structure after breaking this low point here, which is exactly what price would do if we break this level right here? Or are we respecting structure in this overall direction? In this case over here, we're still respecting structure. We're still respecting bullish structure, meaning if price can give us a strong break above a specific level, give us a nice little pullback, a retest on some other structural points like we did over here, right here, and give us a nice rejection and a nice strong volatile push within that direction, especially breaking above that level, then we could definitely get into a long position. Right here, we strongly broke above this level. We strongly broke above this level. We got the pullback and rejection. Once we get that color flip and another strong break above that level, boom, entry, stop loss. Eventually can get moved below this low. TP all the way up here. Done. You're freaking done. All right. And this comes from overall understanding how to mark them out, understanding what you're looking for and what you should look for with these levels, which is strong breaks and closes above and below these levels in regards and respect within that overall directional trend, and in regards and respect of the overall disrespected trend as well. And then boom, you go. You take partial by each level. You take a new TP by each level. And then you take your full TP, whatever, whatever. And that's just how you do it. That's how I do it. And again, my win rate gets posted every single week and monthly. It works for me. Not saying it's going to work for everybody, but this works for me, how I run it and how I do it. You feel what I'm saying? And yeah. All right. But yeah, that's the overall level strategy. Again, not everything works for everybody, but this works for me. This works for a lot of my other students as well. This works for a lot of other people, but it doesn't work for everybody, just like any other strategy. But ultimately, this is just an overall key area, a point of interest, a key level that's based on previous history, stoppage, rejections, and consolidation based on structure, meaning when price can break above and below specific areas, that based on previous history, if it can do that strongly and close above and also give us some little rejects, whatever, and overall respect the overall directional trend, whether it's a disrespected reverse trend or just a continuation, then we know that we could take this trade right now. We can get a better entry than the other 100,000 people who are looking to enter within this overall direction, and we could take this all the freaking way up. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, I hope it was helpful. I hope it wasn't too confusing. I hope I didn't run through it too quickly. But hey, if it was, my mentorship's free. Tap the link in the bio, join my Discord, and just DM me, and we can set it up, and I could give you a more slowed down and maybe even more deeply explained understanding of this, just in case I may have missed anything or I didn't maybe I didn't explain it the best. Which if that was the case, again, I apologize. But yeah, my mentorship's free, so I can help you with anything and everything that I put on this YouTube channel that might still be a little bit confusing to you. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah. And again, tap the Discord link in the bio. Join the Discord. You feel what I'm saying? Tap into the Instagram, TikTok, get daily videos every single day, motivational, educational, and psychological, and some tight little edits too. And yeah, God bless, and I will see y'all next time.